We are at a crossroads. Someone has to answer for this season, and we think fans are blaming the wrong people. Plus, did Team USA show enough against Belgium to make you believe they can contend in 2030? Don't know, but it's coming up next. All right, we're back at it after a couple of weeks off. I'm Dave, that's Sam, and we are your hosts for the Cincinnati Sports Scene Podcast. This is episode number 175, if you can believe it or not. We've been around over 3 years now, and we thank everyone who has been a part of the show, who has listened to us, who has chimed in and gave us input and feedback. We really do appreciate that. But we're going to get right into this, Sam. It is a mess. I know last time we were together a couple of weeks ago, we were like, who's to blame? What's going on? Those type of things. We're going to take it just a little bit different tonight. We are still going to point fingers at people, but we're going to do it in a little different way. Those of you that have been listening to the show, you know how we feel about the front office. You know how we feel about Tito and the players and things like that. We'll just reiterate some of that tonight. But what I find interesting is 2 weeks ago, we were talking about who we're going to trade, those type of things. And it seems like here this week, everybody who has a microphone or a Twitter handle is on the bandwagon, sell, total fire dump, those type of things. So just wanted to let everybody know that if you listened to us 2 weeks ago, you heard it here first. So, we've got the breaking news and everybody's hopping on the bandwagon, on the Cincy Sports Scene bandwagon, because we've got the inside info here,
right,
folks.
Seen this team suck before, so we know when it's time to start trading guys away.
That is correct.
We don't need to hold out any optimism for them. So
that's right. We've been here before. So let's talk about this Reds team here. What's broken? Let's break it down instead of like who. We are going to point fingers, but what is broken with this organization? I guess because it
starts at the top. I mean, our front office is broken. I don't think we have a good player evaluation, good scouting department. And then ultimately our final decision maker does not make the right decisions a lot of times. He's made some good, smaller trades, some, spring training roster invites who have actually been decent players. I mean, JJ Bleday has been a good player for us. But when you're a spring training roster invite and then you turn into a top 5 player for the team, that team's probably not going to be very good because you were a spring training roster invite for a reason. So, I mean, good for JJ Bleday and Nathaniel Lowe and Pierce Johnson, those types of guys who've been playing pretty well. But, I mean, if that's your specialty as the GM, is the scrap heap to kind of, turn your 10 cents into a quarter, it's not that great.
I wish I knew you were going with a scrap heap comment, because I would have had Sanford and Son theme song queued up for the audience there. But
I mean, that's what it is. Like, if you look at all these transactions, like those are his best transactions, are kind of just guys from the leftover pile.
Right.
The big splashes have failed. His trades have failed. So I think, it starts there. It starts with our front office is broken. That includes ownership. I don't want to get into that anymore. That's just beating a dead horse over and over again.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's where we're broken, and then it just trickles down to everything else.
Yeah, I tend to agree. The front office. The other thing, I've got my salty hat on because I am kind of salty about this team right now, in the direction that they're going. That I think they're going, because it's the same old deja vu all over again. But the other key piece, you mentioned, player evaluation, but I think player development
That too.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, just think about this. I know Gino was hurt a little bit this year, but here's a guy who hit 49 home runs last year, right? And I don't even know how many RBIs, 100 and some RBIs, 49 home runs in Arizona, which is a tough park, a deep park, and then he went to Seattle, right?
Seattle, yeah.
In that park, you don't get very many home runs.
No, it's like Griffey and A-Rod in Raleigh,
right?
Are like the only dudes that hit home runs there.
Yeah, and then he comes here, and he has 9 home runs. I mean, he had one last night, but it's like, man.
But that was supposed to be our big signing, and then
right, and the player development part is just like, okay, he's going through a slump. What are we doing to develop his mental approach? I know he's a veteran. He should know what he's doing, but where's that leadership? Is it from the hitting coach? Is it from, Eric Davis? Is it from Barry Larkin? Is it, who in this organization wants to be?
I think it needs to be Barry. I think it needs to be Barry because the coaching staff is not it. They're not helping these guys. So, I mean, I know, Barry can only do so much. I'm sure that, once a week, if he wants to come down for BP, they're more than happy, but they probably don't want him around day to day.
No.
Because, I mean, he's going to be giving different hitting advice than Chris Valleca is.
Yeah.
Because, one could actually hit and one couldn't. So.
Right. Well, and I think it's more the mental approach, right? Because these guys got to the major leagues. Not of all, they're obviously decent ball players. If you get to the major league, you're decent ball players. So yeah, you're struggling. Poor Matt McClain, right? I mean, that's broken. I mean, for crying out loud. And your remedy is to, hey, let's try you in center field.
Right. Let's add this extra pressure to you.
Yeah, you're struggling with the bat, but let's throw you out in center field where you haven't played since college because, you played it in college and you can probably do it.
Your freshman year of college. So not even,
right, I know.
Recently. It's like been 8 years.
So when we go back to what's broken, I think this organizational blueprint is broken. Right? Because, I mean, we talked about it 2 weeks ago about the peaks and valleys, that they want to eliminate peaks and valleys. And it looks like, we're just going to be in this valley forever because there's not going to be any peaks. And I think that Matt McClain is a perfect example of this. We have no organizational depth. This is why we do this kind of crap. I mean, first of all, we traded away 2 outfielders. Reese Hines and whoever else we had to get rid of, because we had to bring up some pitcher who couldn't throw, strikes because he wasn't on the 40 man. So we had to lose a potential young stud outfielder. And CES was the other one. But so, the way we are going about trying to curb this peaks and valleys. I mean, you can jump in if I'm wrong, but is their draft strategy. I know they want to draft stud starting pitchers, which they have been
actually
good.
Done.
Yes, they've actually done a very nice job at that. And shortstops or athletic players. Most of them are shortstops.
Yeah.
And look what happens, right? I mean, yes, you're shortstop in high school, shortstop in college, but you're not going to be a shortstop in the majors. Instead, we're going to put you in the outfield, a corner outfield, or we might put you at second. We might play you third. I think versatility is great, but that's not what you need to build your ball club on.
Well, I think the way that they're doing it is wrong. Is they're letting all these guys play shortstop until they're knocking on the big league door, and then they're moving them. Just draft your shortstop, and then when he's in rookie ball, be like, okay, you're in center field, or you're going to be second baseman, you're going to be third baseman. You can draft all the shortstops you want. That's fine. Got no issues with that. In fact, I kind of prefer that. Take as many shortstops and, spread them out, but you got to do it right away. You can't let them play 2-3 years in the minors as a shortstop, and then when they get to AAA and there's a logjam, be like, okay, now we need you in left field now. Like,
right, because
that doesn't
Ellie's
work.
not moving off short. He's not moving
Right.
off short until,
and you know that.
We trade him.
You've got Edwin Arroyo.
He leaves
who, they're playing at second base and whatnot. But you've got other shortstops that, for backup purposes or whatever. If they draft the next shortstop they draft, just right away, like, hey, when we sign you, you're moving to left, or you're moving to center, you're moving to second. You're not taking reps at shortstop.
Yeah.
I think that's where they have to go if that's going to be their draft strategy, is starting pitchers and athletes. That you have to move them to their position right away.
I like that. Yeah, I tend to agree, because you try to build up the middle, right? When you coach and you build a lineup, you pitcher, catcher, shortstop, second, center fielder. Those are your studs, and then you can fill in. And if you look at the Reds, catcher, average catcher,
slightly below.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Starting pitching's good. Second short, yeah, Ellie's done pretty well. McLean, glove-wise, second's great.
Glove-wise is perfect, yeah.
Yeah, but hitting-wise, no. And then Arroyo's doing well. And then center field is where it falls apart, because Friedel
can't play center anymore.
I mean,
he just can't.
Yeah, and
I mean, you can't throw Marte or McLean. I mean, they don't have
right
another option.
Marte was a bust in center, so they're until Dane Myers get back.
It's right. They're waiting on Dane Myers. Right. Okay. He played fine against lefties. I mean, he was actually pretty good against lefties.
Yeah, he was, but he's not your everyday center
fielder.
He's not.
There's a reason he played against lefties.
Right. He's not 130 some guys. All right. So now that we've spent about 10 minutes on telling you what's broken, let's go into who isn't to blame for this fiasco. If you had a couple of guys, whether they're front office, whether it's ownership, manager, coaching staff, players, who's not to blame for this fiasco?
I mean, I'm going to say the players aren't necessarily to blame. I mean, you have to get better, but when you're relying on the organization and the coaches and the trainers and stuff that they have to help you get better, and as we just discussed, that's where the failure is. It's tough to put that on the players, especially when time and time again we're seeing guys fail. I mean, and the guys that are succeeding are the top of the top prospects, the first overall picks. Or I guess Chase Burns was a second overall pick. Hunter Green was a second overall pick. Badola was a first rounder. Sal was a first rounder. Ellie was a top international free agent signing. Like, we're seeing those guys have a little bit of success, but then we're not seeing the mid-tier guys be built up. So it's tough for me to say the players, even though at some point, you should be able to get better independently. You guys are millionaires. You keep telling me you can't, pay some hitting coach somewhere that's, telling me Barry Bonds wouldn't take $500,000 to show you how to hit over a winner. Like, I think he would. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's tough for me to blame the players on that.
Yeah, it is. So, I think the for me, who isn't to blame in this mess? Players to an extent. I agree with what you're saying, but I also think that you're a big leaguer. I mean, you've got to. I don't know. You've got to figure it out. And if you can't figure it out, then you don't
that's
belong.
Why it was tough for me to, because the coaches are supposed to help you figure it out, and they clearly haven't been able to do that.
Yeah. And then
I get what you're saying though.
Yeah,
At some point, you're
you
a
got
professional
to
athlete.
take responsibility for your,
Yeah.
And I'm sorry if it's Matt McClain going to Nick Krall and saying, "Hey, I'm doing more harm than I am good here. I need to go down to AAA and work on my game, work on my craft. Can I spend put me down there?" You're not going to do that because you got a lot of pride, right? But it's hard to, and Joey Votto said this, during the regular season, it is very hard. You can make adjustments here and there, but it's very hard to improve on your performance. I mean, you got to be somebody like a Votto, Tony Gwynn caliber player
Right.
that can.
You have to have done it before. And then, if you hit a slump, okay,
right.
How do I figure this out? But if you've never done it before, you don't know how to get there to begin with, Right. So I think that's tough.
All right. So we're coming up with who's to blame now. So we got our top 3. Okay. So for number 3, who are you blaming?
Number 3.
3, 2, 1. Number 1 is the most.
The most. Yeah.
Yeah. 3.
3. I'm going with Tito. He is the manager after all. It's his second year, and there's been a lot of regression across the board. We were a little disappointed with how last year ended, backdooring our way into the playoffs. Or I guess kind of backing our way into the playoffs, not necessarily backdooring it. It swept.
Right.
Started the season out great, but then it's just, I don't know, the guys just don't seem to be responding. Tito's kind of being an old man. He just hasn't been too flexible, in my opinion, on some of the stuff. When he said, like, he was downplaying home runs being hit, saying that's not what we're trying to do. It's like, I don't know, man. You're playing in Great American Ballpark. You should be trying to hit home runs. I think that's the recipe for success here.
Well, and I also think that was his way of saying, "Hey, Valakia, that's his philosophy," and I get that philosophy, right? Because gap to gap, you want to be able to go right center. If you can go right center gap consistently, then if you get out in front of it a little bit, you're going to yank it out of the ballpark. That's the theory. That's the thought process there. Right center, always thinking right center, because you don't want to get fooled on a pitch. You can wait a little longer to see it, those type of things. I think the third, I'm going to put this on the ownership, the Castellinis. They told us they're going to bring a championship caliber team here. They haven't. And they're still allowing people to continue to make the same types of deals and roster constructions. So they're 3 because they're not willing to budge off of whatever. And Phil may be right. Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? Because we're still here and we're still talking about them. Yeah. So hats off to you, Phil. All right, number 2.
Number 2 for me is Nick Krall. I touched on it a little bit ago. All my reasons. Ultimately, he is the roster constructor, and he's just failed at putting together a playoff roster this year.
I think number 2 for me, it's going to be a group. It's the coaching staff, and not just Tito, but hitting coach Freddie Benavides. How long is this guy going to be around?
Because what does he even do?
He's supposed to be the fielding coach, and he's the bench manager, right?
Right. I know he's the bench guy, but outside of that,
the fielding coach, right? And has our fielding improved in the 10 years that he's been here? No.
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 I'm trying to think who's been a Gold Glover. Tucker Barnhart won one, maybe 2.
Yeah, but I guarantee you, Freddie wasn't back there
Right.
working with Tucker.
Right.
He's out there working with the middle infielders and third basemen.
And none of them have won a Gold Glove. So, yeah. No, I'm right there with you.
All right. So that's where I'm going. The coaching staff, just because, one, they can't develop players. Two, they can't make the adjustments when it's being needed. And it can, lineup construction, I just don't know. I mean, it is what it is. So I know Tito's, he moved Elliott up to 1, Sal up to 2, which I'm not opposed, just because get your best players more at bats, right? I mean, because they're not driving in anybody, so
right, nobody's on in front of them.
Yeah, so might as well get them on. The one thing that I wish, and I know Ellie's been hurt with that hamstring, but I just wish that they wouldn't preach this. Well, we're going to control run. We're not going to just be like when Tito came. We're just not going to run just to run. Well, that's what made it exciting.
It made it exciting, and I mean, shoot, we led the league in steals under David Bell.
Yeah, I know.
They were running left and right. I know Friedel's lost some speed. He's been dealing with some injuries, and McLean hasn't been able to get on base. But, I mean, dudes were running left and right. If they were putting pressure on the defense.
Well,
right?
Yeah. What was it? 2 years ago yesterday, I think, the Reds were, what were they?
They were in first place. They were 50 and 40, or 51 and 40, or something like that.
Something like that. They were in first place.
Yeah.
And, I think Ellie stole 3 bases in a row against the Brewers.
Stole home against the Brewers.
Right. That was the last time they, I think, beat the Brewers in Milwaukee.
Probably.
But so it's just like, that was exciting. And this is where I said, the ownership, and
if you're going to be bad, at least be exciting.
Yeah. And my number one is getting into is Nick Krall, right? Because you had an opportunity to take advantage of this team that was overperforming before expectations, and you did nothing but add Sam Maul. They needed a bat. They needed an outfield bat, and you added nothing because you did not want to trade your prized prospects. And
what are those prospects doing right now? Where are they right now?
You got DFA'd, right?
Exactly.
So they're prospects for a reason. So get rid of them. Bring something back. You could have won. Because that team believed in each other. David Bell, he was like, yeah, if I'm going out, we're going out my way, and I'm going to be aggressive in everything. And lo and behold, he went to Toronto. They went from worst to first a year ago. And, so, all right, who's your number one?
My number one was the Castellini family. Pretty much all the same reasons you said at 3. Ultimately, they're the one writing the checks. They have ultimate say, ultimate final decisions, and they haven't made the right ones. They hired Nick Krall. They still haven't fired Nick Krall. I don't know how you can go into another trade deadline letting him make these moves that are inevitable. Because we know what he's going to get back for. It's not going to be a good package. It's not going to be a good return, or he's going to trade the wrong guy, or just whatever it is. He's a lame duck. You're firing him after this year anyway. So why are you going to let him go through the trade deadline? It's just a mess all around. And I mean, Castellinis aren't going anywhere, but ultimately, that for me, they're the number ones to blame.
All right. Moving on. If one person goes, who is it? Whether fired, trade, whatever. Who is it?
I think Stevenson's getting dealt for sure. They're not going to bring him back. He's, his contract's up.
But once again,
the catcher market's probably not going to be that great. So
No,
I could see a team wanting to get him.
They could get, maybe
But I mean, they're going to get a
20,
low tier
top
starting
20,
pitching, right?
top 20 prospect, maybe not top 20, 20 to 40 prospects, somewhere around in there.
Right, somewhere in there.
Somewhere around in there.
I mean, maybe turns into a decent ball player, but
yeah.
But I mean, but Stevenson's not coming back, so you might as well.
Right, but here again is what the heck is the blueprint, right? We have no catchers in the pipeline because Dunno's
2 years away.
2 years. He's
maybe
went up to Double-A
right now. 2 probably, yeah.
So next year, unless he moves up
if
here,
he just rakes, yeah.
Yeah, if he moves up, he still needs work on the catching aspect.
Well, right,
hitting. Forget about it. He's
there. Call him up right now, hitting.
Right.
Yeah.
But he needs work on the catching. So PJ Higgins.
That's true. Yeah, it'd be Higgins and Trevino, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, see, that's what I'm saying. It's like we you knew 2 years ago. If you didn't know 2 years ago you were not extending Tyler Stevenson, then okay, maybe that was their plan with Trevino. And I'm like,
but why did you line their contracts up then?
Right.
Like, why are they both going to enter free agency at the same time?
Yeah.
Like that doesn't make any sense. So, you're right. It's stuff like that. You're right. Mm-hmm. You had plenty of time to prepare for that. So if you're going to bring in Trevino, why are you giving him a 2-year deal where they both enter free agency at the same time? Like, why wouldn't you give him a 3-year deal or just a 1-year deal because he sucked? So you should be bringing in somebody else.
Right.
But no,
because they're going to bring our boy Luke Maley back or
right,
Kurt Caselli back, somebody like that.
But Luke Maley is back apparently somewhere. He just hit a home run the other day. So.
Yeah, his first at bat back. Yeah. So all right. To me, if one person goes, I like the tie because I think he is going to go. Brady Singer. I mean, from a player standpoint, Brady Singer is probably because you can't give him $12 million next year. I mean, you can't. No,
and some playoff team will get him.
Pick him up.
Somebody will get hurt, slot him into the 4 spot, and
he'll be
they
fine.
Won't miss a beat.
Nope,
so.
He'll be fine. All right. The biggest roster mistake. I mean, besides what we've been talking about of like not projecting depth.
Right.
That's the biggest mistake. We have no depth in our organization at all. But the biggest roster mistake right now.
I mean, not getting a certified outfielder, an outfield bat this past offseason. I mean, we were clamoring for it. And
we were.
That's not the route they decided to take. They brought in Suarez instead.
Yeah.
But, I mean, our outfield has not been good. Center field particularly has been awful. So, I don't know.
And I'm sorry to all these fans out there that are clamoring Will Benson. Friedel, Benson should have been called up. Friedel, when Friedel went down, those type of things or whatnot. But, here's the reality. He got DFA'd last week. He cleared waivers. Yeah. And he accepted assignment back at AAA Louisville. So what does that say? This is, people to blame. We talked about the fans being part of it. It's us. We are enamored with personality, not playability, personality. Because Will Benson hit 1 home run against the Dodgers to beat them in that magical 20.
It was awesome.
That 2023.
That was 3 years ago. Yeah.
3 years ago, right? He hit that home run, throws his bat down, right? And he's batted like $1.60, $1.75. 29 teams passed on him. If he was so good, Cincinnati fans, why didn't somebody pick him up? Because people know he's not good. Over a 40 or 60% strikeout rate, you ain't making it.
No,
you're not making it.
They also know, I mean, he's, I think he's 28 now.
Something like that.
You don't get better. You don't get better. He is what he is at this point.
Right.
He's not getting any better. So
he's not no Jamie Morris. Okay, so the rookie. All right, so but my biggest roster mistake is this right here. It is trading for Ke'Bryan Hayes last year.
I mean, he's been so far out of my mind, I completely forgot about him.
But
you're right. That hamstrung us so much.
It did, because Sal Stewart was ready to come up. Nope.
Yep.
Now where are we going to play him? Oh, we got Spencer first. We got moving everybody around. If he wasn't there, Sal plays third. Right? And I know part of the reason was, hey, we want to get a better defense. Well,
should have got a better defensive second baseman or shortstop. I don't care. I don't care if you have a Gold Glove third baseman. I don't care. I want my third baseman to hit 30 bombs. That's it.
Yeah. And
that's it.
He ain't doing that. 30 hits.
Right.
so yeah, So that, to me, that was the biggest mistake. Bringing somebody in at that amount of money.
Right. That, what, $8 million? Is it 8?
I can't remember how much it is.
I think it's 8.
Over the course of.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I think it's 8 per year, and he still has 3 or 4 more years left.
Something like that. Yeah. It's
it's not like something they can get out of if they need to.
No, because nobody's taking them.
No.
Nobody's that dumb. No. Unless it's a trade.
I was listening to Mo yesterday, and a caller called in, and they were like, hypothetical trades, and they were like, whatever trade we make, Ke'Bryan Hayes has to be attached to it. So if we trade Lodolo, you got to put Ke'Bryan Hayes on there, and we'll take back lesser prospects if we have to. But you have to attach them.
Exactly. You got to get rid of them, because then it frees up some things for you, right? You've got your third base. Sal can go over to third and play third base. I mean, I like him at first too, but then if you like Spencer Steer enough to keep him, he's one that the rumor mill is saying that they probably should move him.
I think he would bring back some value, though, if they did move him.
Yeah, but he could be your first baseman.
He could, yep.
So then you got, Arroyo at second, Ellie at short, and then, Sal Stewart at third. If not, Sal plays first, Arroyo goes to third or second, and McClain goes to third. And then Spencer's traded. Or Spencer goes to the outfield. I mean, right field, because who knows? I mean, we got a kid who's mashing in AAA, Hector Rodriguez. They're not going to call him up. They won't call him up till September.
Right.
But whatever. All right. So now your deadline predictions. Any deadline predictions?
I mean, they're going to be sellers 100%. I like what you said. Singer, I think Singer's gone. And then I think Stevenson will be gone. I'm going to say Stevenson's gone before the deadline. After the All-Star break, but before the deadline. And then Singer might be a deadline day type of deal. And then I wouldn't be surprised if there's one more other type of move. Maybe Suarez or JJ Bleday or Nate Lowe. I think somebody else. I think probably 3 total moves is what we can expect.
I think, my bold prediction was 3 vets are gone. And that's, to me, it's going to be Singer, Stevenson, Pagan. Pagan's going.
Yeah, he could command something
because he's
7th inning guy for somebody.
Yeah. He'll be 10, 11, 12 million next year. Him and Singer are up there next year. Get rid of them. That team has an extra year of control. Those type of things. So those are my 3 bold predictions, deadline predictions. All right, moving on. Last night, the United States, Belgium, or 2 nights ago, I think it was.
Yeah, 2 nights. Monday night.
2 nights ago, Monday night. United States and Belgium played. The United States took one on the chin, 4-1. I guess my first question to you, Sam, is: were you encouraged or concerned
Well,
about
the
the outcome.
first 4 games, I was encouraged, but this last one, I'm. It's something that we've all kind of known, but I mean, one thing that Americans love. I mean, we've seen the jokes. Our favorite sport is competition, and our second favorite sport is talking shit. Those are the two things we love more than any sport itself. So I mean, but most of that is just what we like to do. We don't, in our heart of hearts, believe the U.S. soccer team is the best team, or we want them to. We're going to support them, but we knew. I did not think Belgium was going to do that. Um, but on the other hand, that effort that they put out was the worst effort I have ever seen a men's team, or women's, or any soccer team from the U.S. have in a World Cup game. That was pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. I mean, from the first minute of the game, you knew Belgium was at least getting one first half goal, if not two. Just from the opening kickoff. I mean, they went down a minute in the game, almost got a goal. The guys were just flat-footed. They had no energy whatsoever. They came out flat. I have no idea why. They looked scared, which makes no sense to me because no U.S. team with lesser talent has ever looked scared, ever. And these guys are all playing. If you go name by name, USA, Belgium, and you look at the clubs, the salaries, the transfer values of our players versus the Belgians, on paper, we were better. Like playing at better clubs, making more money, having higher transfer values. But this group of players just does not have the right mentality whatsoever. They don't. Christian Pulisic he cannot be the face of U.S. soccer anymore. He's still our best player, but you can't ask him to be our best player. You just can't. He's not available, and when he is, you can't ask to come out of a game. You cannot ask to come out of a game.
Not
Period.
a World Cup game, yeah.
Period.
I know you're hurting. Now, I don't know if it,
Oh, you didn't hear him say after yesterday what it was? He had a little ankle thing. That's what he's called it, a little ankle thing. Landon Donovan played in a World Cup game, 2 World Cup games on a full-out torn hamstring.
Mm-hmm.
You had a little ankle thing, and you couldn't be out there for the guys.
Well, that's pathetic. That load management and everything else, right?
It's pathetic.
Yeah.
I agree. Another thing on Christian Pulisic, he's been injured his whole career. Mm-hmm. He's still 120 pounds. He's been 120 pounds since he was 16. What are you doing? How are you still this small? How are you still this fragile? It's pathetic. And the whole roster, up and down, scared. I mean, no effort, no fight. They were just letting the Belgian dudes talk all of this stuff and didn't do a thing about it. Not a single thing about it.
I will say a couple of things. One, I turned it on a little late and it was 1-1, and I was like, wow. I think it was 25th minute when I started watching it, and I was just watching, and I'm like, okay, what's the U.S. doing? I mean, they weren't running anything when they had the ball. Defensively, I'm like, okay, that's weird. I'm not the soccer guy, but just as an observer saying, that doesn't look like what they were doing their last couple of games that I watched. But the scaredness, the just not attacking, it reminds me of basketball players that love to dribble way too much, and they get nowhere with the ball, right? They're out there doing all this kind of stuff between the legs, behind the back, and they're staying in the same spot. Ooh, 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 the fans are ooh, but then they try to make a move to the basket, and they'll either turn the ball over or they'll throw up a brick, right? Because they don't have that One move, one quick move, pull up, jumper, anything like that. And that's what it sort of reminded me of. I don't know, the wing guy, whoever he was, he might have scored the first goal for him and for the United States.
Tillman.
But every time, huh?
Tillman.
Yeah, Tillman.
Yeah,
I think every time he had the ball, he always wanted to like bring his foot over it like 3 or 4 times and trying to fake the guy out. I'm like, you know what? Just go past him, And I know it's hard to do.
It's hard to do, but I don't blame Tillman for that because every time he did pass it to somebody else, they lost it.
Yeah,
he was the only one that could do even just a little bit of anything.
I know, but it was like his signature move over and over again. It's like the guy wasn't biting on it, so just go through him.
It's the step over move, and the idea behind that is you're waiting for a teammate to make a run, right? And you're hoping that defender follows your teammate that's making the run, and you can cut inside.
Gotcha.
That's the idea behind that. But he never had a teammate make a run, and so he's just sitting there looking like
he just kept stepping over like 17 times. I'm like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah. So I mean, that's the idea behind.
All right. Well, now I learned something here. Hey,
but
yeah, hopefully
right.
some of you guys.
It wasn't. It was bad.
Yeah. So
it was humiliating.
I think,
in all honesty,
I think
they legitimately. This isn't hyperbolic. Before, it's always been hyperbolic. Oh, if the U.S. does good, maybe soccer will take off. That game was not the most watched U.S. soccer game ever. That was the most watched soccer game, period, that ever in the United States. Ever. More than any other World Cup game, a World Cup final, a Champions League, a Premier League. That was the most watched soccer game ever. And they did that. You think that's inspiring some 6-year-old somewhere to pick up soccer? Because it's not. And they had the perfect opportunity to do it. Because that's the argument. That's what you need. You don't need a middle schooler to be inspired. It's too late for him. You need that 5-year-old, that 6-year-old to see something on TV for the first time and be like, that's awesome. I want to do that. That's how we get better. And it's they dropped the ball, they missed it, and they're not going to have a chance to pick that up again for 12 more years. Because the next 2 World Cups are in Spain and Morocco, Portugal are split in one, and then the one after that's in Saudi Arabia. And then in 12 years, the U.S. will probably get it again. Just how the cycle of them works. Because it has to come back to North America, and what you're going to put it in Guatemala, like, no, you're not. You're putting it in the U.S.
Right.
And then, Mexico will probably tag along again. I think Canada will get left out the next time, but whatever. We're not discussing that.
Right.
But so you just missed out on an entire generation of kids that you could have inspired, could have developed, could have laid some more groundwork for the next generation to take off. So now we're 12 more years delayed after being 30 years delayed, after being forever delayed. It's extremely frustrating. And I mean, as someone who's grown to love soccer and enjoys watching it, really enjoys following it, it's becoming my favorite sport. It's tough. It's tough to watch your favorite team get housed like that with no effort being put forward. It's disappointing, especially when you've seen lesser teams go toe-to-toe against this same Belgium team when this Belgium team was in their prime. And now our quote-unquote golden generation can't beat a bunch of washed-up geezers. Like, it's sad.
Well, I think
sad.
Let's talk about the biggest takeaways from this World Cup experience, I guess, for the United States team, us fans in general. Then we can move on. I've got a little tidbit that I want to add, and I heard it off of another show, and I just want to get your opinion on that. So let's talk about your biggest takeaways from the World Cup so far.
So I'll start kind of macro. The U.S. should host more. Honestly, should host all just world-class sporting events. Every Olympics, every Pro. Like, we should just get it all. I mean, that's a bit selfish. I get that. I'd say that a bit facetiously, but everybody had a great time. Everybody had a great time. And we have the infrastructure for it, clearly. We have the best stadiums in the world. So, from that perspective, it's been eye-opening. A lot of, international people didn't realize kind of the depth of our stadiums and the
Yeah.
depth of our infrastructure. They, because they have one world-class stadium and a couple others that are pretty nice, pretty good. But we've got 80 that would be the best stadium in any other country. And that's including college football stadiums, obviously. But still, we're second to none there. As far as the U.S. actually playing, to beat up on the teams that you're supposed to win against, before we would win those games, but to dominate and actually, Paraguay beat Germany, for crying out loud, and took France to the end, and we beat them 4-1. We dog walked them. That's something that we have never done in a World Cup. So that's encouraging. That's something to, in theory, you should have been able to build on. But then, it just all comes crashing down because you realize we don't have what it takes we can't beat Belgium, who's a second-tier team. We're not beating the top dogs ever. And so it just leaves a bit of disappointment in your mouth, in your mind, knowing that this is kind of what we are. We're around a 16 team, and that's where we are. So moving forward, our goal is just, hey, let's just beat up on Mexico. That way we can at least, have a little bit of fun back and forth between them. We can kind of stay in our little corner over here, thinking we're better. At least we're better than Mexico, right? So as long as we can be better than Mexico, I guess that's just kind of where we'll have to adjust our expectations. But that last game, it's just, I don't know, man. There's, I think if we'd have recorded this podcast yesterday, I'd have been a lot more explosive. I've had time to kind of calm down a little bit. But
I'm glad we didn't do a live recording on Monday night as we're watching.
I'm sure you can go look at our security footage. I was pacing the living room for about an hour and a half, just diving down, talking to the walls. The walls were the players, and I was letting them have it. But it's just tough. Just really tough, disappointing. And unfortunately there's not a fix for it. Yeah.
Well, I think my biggest takeaway is the enthusiasm for soccer here, because it came from the United States. It's in the United States, and just that the whole those first 2 weeks of the World Cup, it was
awesome.
It was glorious, right?
Yeah.
Everybody, all those kind of things. And the fans, the international fans that came over and were posting things. And I know we talked about this 2 weeks ago, Freddie and all these other people. And just, the joy of it, and just the realization, like you said, wow, we didn't realize this. We were told one thing about America, and we come over here and it's nothing like what we were told.
Right. Our hospitality is second to none. You think you're getting this experience in Germany? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No. So this biggest takeaway was, if we could have just played close.
It's not even beating them.
Right. Play close.
Yeah.
Losing a shootout or something like that. That momentum carries.
Lose with your heart on the field.
Yeah. That momentum carries. And you're right. The little 5, 6, 7-year-old kid sees that shootout. And,
the heartbreak and I could be good enough to
do that.
Get us over the hump. To win
those
this
type
game.
Of things, right? And they're in their backyard, replaying penalty kicks.
They're taking a penalty kick exactly up against their wall,
right. Those type of things, right? And instead, it fizzles out. And I hate to say it now, that we Americans, once our team's been eliminated, we're out. We checked out. We're going back to baseball. Football's right around the corner.
Training camp starts next week.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
See ya. See you guys. See you in 4 years.
Yep. We don't care. And that's the big takeaway. It's like we could have kept that momentum rolling, but no, that's not it. One thing I heard, Colin Cowherd, yesterday on his show, he was comparing us to the rest of these teams, especially the ones in the round of 16. And he was mentioning something similar to what you said about Pulisic, about being small. And he's like, where's our dudes at? Where's our big guys at? We're America, for crying out loud. Our athletes, we got freaks as football players, as basketball players. Where are these freaks at for soccer? I mean, there's no freaks.
They're our defenders. So Alex Freeman, Antonio Freeman's son. I mean, that's freak athlete. Chris Richards, it's tough to see the athleticism from a center back just because they play so defensively. You never see them really full out and sprint.
But
if they're a good center back,
the size.
I mean, Chris Richards is 6'3". I mean, he's a big dude.
Yeah, but
and from all accounts, like, that's a dude where he chose soccer. He could have went pro in whatever he chose. Like, that's the type of athlete he is, which is the type of athlete we want choosing soccer.
Right.
But he's a defender.
But we got to get it on the other side of the ball, because Pulisic,
he's small.
He falls
small.
over, right? So it's like, where's those dudes at? Where's the guy from Norway? Holland or Haaland?
Well, he's a tight end. And if his hands don't work, he's a defensive end.
Yeah,
like that's kind of the argument us Americans have always had. Well, if our best athletes played, the inverse is, if your best athletes grew up in America, would they be soccer players? And the answer to that is no. Not a single one of them would be. And that's kind of our issue. My whole kind of thing that I think would actually help. We don't necessarily need our best of the best athletes. If you ask around, like, the U.S. team athletically is the most athletic in the world already. Like hands down, maybe outside of like Jamaica, who can just flat out sprint you. Yeah. Maybe we fall short there, but athletically, we've always still been the best country at that. But to add to that, my issue is, and I got a lot of positive responses when I tweeted this out, was, what is the backup cornerback from Hoover, Alabama, who goes to Troy to be the backup slot cornerback? He's 5'9", 165. What the hell is he doing putting on pads? He should have on soccer cleats from the time he's 5. What are you doing? You want to be a pro athlete. What are you doing playing football at that size? Right? So many of our kids kind of go to the traditional American sports that they don't have a chance at, because it's built, like, football is built purely on size. Outside of quarterback, it's built purely on size. So you don't know what a kid's going to be when they're 12 yet. You just don't know. Whereas soccer, that's too late. If you don't know by 12, you're done. Like, kids are getting cut from Manchester United's academy at 10. Like, you're not good enough. You're not going pro. They can already tell. So my whole thing has always been, these athletes, like, I'll use myself as an example. Not that I would have ever gone pro if I played soccer growing up. But I played 2 years of football in middle school. What the hell was I doing? I weighed 85 pounds, if that. Why did I question that pads? Too? You know what I mean? Like,
that's why I was trying to get you into golf.
Right, and I did. But But why did I ever put on pads? There's so many kids. Exactly. But it's not like you ever played soccer. If you would have played soccer,
I played soccer 2 years now.
Well, okay, but you played football in high school. You were a football coach. Like, if you had grown up around soccer, that's my whole point. Is we have so many of these kids.
Right.
Like, why are you a 5'9" backup point guard on the JV basketball team? What are you doing? Like, go play soccer.
Got hopes and dreams, man. I'm good.
Right,
good.
And that's what I'm saying. Those are the type of athletes we have.
The big three.
We have plenty of athletes that, I mean, how many 6-foot white soccer players can dunk a basketball? Probably none of them. I can. So I'm a good enough athlete, just naturally. that, maybe I'd have had a chance. If not me, there's tons of athletes that are better than me that still didn't have a chance at football or baseball or basketball that should have been playing soccer from the beginning. So that's kind of my whole thing at this point.
Because they need that technical skill, right? I mean, in
Right.
any sport, you need your technical
You
skill.
do. The closest sport we have to soccer is baseball.
Right.
Right. You can't pick up baseball as a high schooler and then do anything with it.
Yeah.
But guess what? You can be an NFL Hall of Famer never playing football and just get drafted. You can be a college basketball player and go play and be a Hall of Famer in football, right? You can't do that in baseball. Baseball is kind of our closest, because also in baseball, you see guys of all different shapes and sizes have success.
Mm-hmm.
You do. It's our closest to soccer. It's skill-based. So you don't have to necessarily be the fastest or jump the highest.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have the time to develop that skill.
Yeah.
We don't have the infrastructure for soccer.
Hockey's another one that has some similarities, right?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Gretzky was fast as lightning. He wasn't a big guy, but man, he had the.
Well, like McDavid now is just faster than everybody else. Like, you're right. Hockey would be a comparison. But hockey's not as popular as baseball. That's why I went with baseball.
Right. Yes, you are right.
And baseball is more of a global game than hockey is as well. So I mean, outside of like 6 countries, who cares about hockey? So, but yeah, I mean, I think
we love hockey. We love hockey here, Phil Farr. All right, so don't get mad at us.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, we're one of the countries that likes hockey. So, but if we ever wanted to get, legitimate at soccer, we have to actually push the 5-6-year-olds,
Well, I think we've got to look at the European model of how they run
that too,
programs.
right. Because we make the arguments about pay to play all the time,
right?
But they're pay to play too. The only difference is the top. So the top clubs, the top leagues are the ones paying for this development. It's not a parent, right? It's the actual soccer culture is paying for it.
It's a farm system.
It's a farm system, exactly.
Right? So, but yeah, all right. So after Monday night and moving forward here, what are the expectations for 2030? Excuse me.
I mean,
is it round of 16?
It's
again.
Round of 16 is the minimum, I think, for us moving forward. Outside of 2018 when we didn't even make the World Cup, like that's been our last 5 World Cups is round of 16 and then we lose. Okay, so that's the bare minimum expectation is round of 16. That's where we are. Like if you look at our FIFA ranking, we're never really higher than the 15, 12 kind of area. Those teams lose in the round of 16 unless they play each other and then one of them wins. And so that's kind of like we've kind of got a little bit of bad luck. Like Colombia and Switzerland played each other. Those are 2 perennial round of 16 teams that get eliminated in the round of 16. They happen to play each other. One team goes through. If we'd have caught a break like that, maybe that's the only way.
I mean, we caught a break, right, with Belgium.
Belgium's still a top 10 team.
Well,
like they still are.
Yeah,
I thought we could beat them. I genuinely thought we could. I still think we can. But Belgium is still they're that second tier, whereas we're the third tier. We're the best of the third tier, but we're the third tier. And I mean, the second tier's only got 5 teams in it. First tier's only got 5 teams in it. We're the best of the third, but that's a round of 16. So I mean, that's just where we're at. So I think that's the bare minimum going forward. It's not, make it out of the group anymore with the extra game. You got to win that first knockout round game too.
Yep.
You've got to make the round of 16. That's that's the goal.
Yeah, I think you got to make a round of 16, and I think you got to have a better showing. Then I mean, you've got to be on the verge of a breakthrough, right? Because
losing PKs, losing extra time, lose 2-1. Lose with some fight at the very least.
Yeah, you can't be flat. You can't let the biggest moment in your life pass you by.
Right.
And that's what happened.
Like say 2030, it obviously depend on the draw. Hypothetically, we have to qualify, but not great. With the expanded World Cup, the CONCACAF gets 6 teams. If if we hypothetically were to not qualify, just disband it, just stop, just stop. I mean, because you'd be talking about losing out on a World Cup spot to teams like Guatemala, teams like Jamaica, teams like that, where like they probably don't even have $1 million budget for the whole soccer infrastructure in their entire country, and that's what we spend on an assistant coach, and that's everything for them. So to not hypothetically make any more future World Cups would be just disbanded. But qualifying would show something. You gotta finish one or two so that you can at least get put in pot A or B, so that you can avoid these big teams in group stage.
Yep.
And then you work your way from there. Going forward, there's going to be a round of 32. There will probably be an opportunity to beat one of these big teams in the round of 32 for us. If you can do that and then lose in the round of 16, you would exceed expectations if you can pick off one of these big clubs in a knockout game. That's the key in a knockout game.
Right.
We beat Portugal in 2002 3-0 in a group stage game. Right? We've beat some bigger teams in the group stages before, but we've never done it in a knockout. Mm-hmm. So that's the next.
That's where the money's made, right? The knockout.
That's where the excitement. That's where you can build for the future. That's where the little kids see, wow, we did it. So
exactly. All right. With that, we're going to move on here to our trivia. So 2 weeks ago, I asked a trivia question, and Sam got it right. So he's got the trivia this week. If you want to play along, there's a couple of different ways you can do it. We'll post the answers, in the comments section on the video. So if you want to play along as you're watching this video, you can try to answer with us. And if not, the answers will be there. And you can also just submit some answers as well. So you can find us at CSS, Cincy Sports Scene, on Instagram and Twitter. All right, go, son.
All right, so we got some World Cup trivia for you. So
Help.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun. I mean, the ones, they're gettable just because, there's no deep cuts here. They're gettable.
No. Argentina. Messi.
No. Well, let me ask you the questions here.
All right.
Just who has won the most World Cups? Start there.
Brazil?
It's Brazil. They have won 5.
Yay.
Who is the all-time leader in World Cup goals?
Is that Messi?
That is Messi. He broke it this year. Do you? Yep. You don't. But do you want to guess whose record he broke?
Probably some guy I never heard of.
Most likely. He's a German. He retired after 2014.
Oh, no. Who is it?
Miroslav Klose.
Nope.
Whose record he broke. Third and final one. Well, part one of the third final question. How many different teams have ever won the World Cup?
Oh. I saw this somewhere, and I'm trying to remember. I got a number in my head.
It's been posted. It's been posted throughout the coverage, so that's why I'm asking it.
And I got a number in my head, but I think that might be too high, but it could be way too low. I don't know. I want to say 12.
It's too high.
Yeah, so 6.
A little too low.
8.
8 is the answer. Do you want to take a guess at the 8 teams?
Well, there's Argentina.
Argentina's 1.
Brazil
is 2. There's one more South America team. The teams are only from South America and Europe, by the way. Just to let you know.
Venezuela?
Not Venezuela, no. They won the first one ever. And then they got one more in the 50s.
Just trying to think. Yeah, my geography is not great.
It might be the smallest country in South America. Well, that competes soccer-wise in South America. It's like French Guiana or whatever. But they don't compete. Uruguay. Uruguay is the other South American. And then you got 5 European teams. Take a stab at it.
Let's see. Did England win one?
England won 1.
That's what I thought, like in 1960 or something like that.
66, yep.
Okay. France?
France, yes, that's 2.
Germany?
Germany, that's 3.
And then there's 2 more?
2 more.
Did Spain?
Spain, yes. They won 1.
And then was it one of the Scandinavian countries or not?
No. Southern Europe.
Italy.
Italy.
Okay.
There you go. Those are the 8 teams that have ever won a World Cup.
Wow,
Yep.
That's a good one.
And this year's winner's coming from one of those 8 teams. I'll let you guys know right now.
Probably right. All right. Before we get out of here, one bold prediction. So, like any type of bold prediction that you may have.
It's a bad bold prediction. Based on where the Reds are at right now, I'm going to say they go into the All-Star break 10 games under 500. I think are they at 7 or 8 right now?
They are.
I think they're 8 under.
8 under right now. Yeah.
I think.
So my bold prediction is the Reds they're going to clean house at the end of the year. No one on the coaching staff will be back.
I would be on board with that. I wouldn't mind that.
I mean, I think Tito's going to step down. And I think they're going to fire everybody else.
Yeah. Just clean house, start over.
Clean house and start over. Yep.
Yeah.
So, all right. Do us a favor. Let us know in the comments who deserves the most blame for this Reds disaster. And if you were to trade a player, who would it be? And finally, how optimistic are you about Team USA in 2030? Let's hear it, folks. You can catch us next week as we'll be coming back here on a Wednesday night, and we'll be talking All-Star game, reminiscing about All-Star games of the past. Reds in the All-Star game, see if Chase Burns does well. He's on the bump tonight. But we'll talk about the All-Star games and maybe preview a little training camp because football season is right around the corner. That about wraps us up here. So for Sam, I'm Dave. Everybody, take care.
See you.